Namaskar, I am Dr. Nalini Avinash Wagmare, working as an assistant professor in Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapit Pune. This is my brief information. Today's our topic is research methodology in history. This is the title. Then let's see what is the history. Various historians given a different opinion about history. Generally, what is history we see? Uh, The origin of word history can be traced back to the Greek word historia, meaning inquiry or research or knowledge obtained as a result of inquiry. Actually, history is the study of past events, but here the word history means historia, research, inquiry, knowledge, everything. Then what is research? Research is a combination of two words, re plus search, repetition of search. Research is a process of collection of evidence or information or ascertaining an assumption or verifying some hypothesis. Here we check the what is hypothesis. The guess made by the researcher which either solve the problem or guide him in further investigation. A hypothesis is a statement temporarily accepted as true the light of what is at the time known about a phenomena, and it is employed as a basis for action in the search for new truth. When the hypothesis is fully established, it may take the form of facts, principles, and theories. It is using while doing research. It is one of the important steps in research to guess how our research work and its design is. For that purpose, hypothesis is very, very important while doing research. Then what were the or what are the objectives of research? First thing is to seek the answer of the problem, to enhance the efficiency of the system, to increase the volume of quality of information, importance of research for social sciences, even to solve some social problems. That is for that purpose we have doing research, even to find out the truth, to give justice to our subject, to write correct history or reconstruct the history. For that purpose we also doing research, or to bring original work in front of the society. The fact must be come in front of society people, and to get scientific results in social sciences. For that purpose also we are doing research. Then what were the sources? No source, no history. While doing research, some are the sources, primary and secondary. Both sources are very important for writing, for doing research. Books, documents, articles, journals, newspapers, buildings, temple, excavated sites. While doing history research, there are two types of sources we are finding. One is primary sources, and one is secondary sources. Then again the sources are in qualitative and quantitative type. Then scientific research is very, very important. Today whole world doing on scientific research. So here scientific research is systematic, controlled, empirical, critical investigation of hypothetical proportions about the present relations among natural phenomena. Steps of scientific research are formulation of working hypothesis, observation and recording of data, the classification and organization of data, then come to the generalization. So whenever you are doing scientific research, if you done research in one laboratory, then you that sample take to in another laboratory, the answer must be same. Like 2 plus 2, 4 everywhere in the world is 4 only. Systematic and scientific case we are doing research. Then research in social sciences. In simple terms, research is a way of going finding answer to questions. Social science research, commonly called social research, its main intention to seek two answers to questions about the social world. It is a collection of methods people use systematically to produce knowledge. It is an exciting process of discovery, but it is requires persistence, personal integrity, tolerance of ambiguity, interaction with others, and pride in doing quality investigation. Then there are various type of research we find. Under that also the pure research, applied research and action research. Let's see what is pure research. In pure research, it's a basic research. It is also called as a fundamental research. Theoretical research are invariably used terms for pure research. They suggest that no immediate application or use of their findings carried out for the sake of understanding and comprehending a phenomena. It is for the sake of knowledge, like Albert Einstein done a good research. Then pure research is like an infant. Someone will develop application or modify it. The use of basic research is not of immediate consequences. Then what is applied research? It is aimed at solving a social or technical problem immediately. Then applied research need not be any technical and engineering marvel. Any evaluation or assessment can be an applied study. Then action research, it is an interpretation of any aspects of human activities, social practices. It is almost like an applied research but with some differences. It is finding local solution for a global problem. So in this pandemic era also we find some local solutions, some desi medicines while using the this prevent this coronavirus. Then historical writings and historical research. In previous centuries, historical writings was much like literary writing since it was often narrated driven and it strived to tell a story much as literature did. However, in the last 60 years, the style of professional historical writings has shifted closer to that of scientific writing. Means, in fact, fiction is more than in earlier writing. Now, the scientific phase of writing started. In that time, the field of history has adopted so many of empirical methodologies for social sciences. When we are doing scientific research, we have to use many techniques in this research method. Then professional historians. Interestingly, as professional historians have moved away from literary writing styles and other authors have stepped into write histories marketed to the general public, including literary authors, journalists, and commentators from the news and broadcast media. Then historical method. Just as scientific writing, modern historical writing is fact-driven with the purpose of revealing facts, information, and interpretation in a rational, logical manner. Like science, today also the historian try to take a problem, collection of materials, and do interpretation, then come to the conclusion. This type of things he is doing now. The object of all historical writing is to relate a story of human past as accurately as possible by explaining the aspects of it or revealing relevances or attempting to prove how and why things occurred or how process unfolded and to what effect. The analysis and presentation of the arguments are organized according to historical method. Then cultivating a good historical writing style. If you want to do if I want to do I want a good historical writer, so then what I have to do? So here, while one becomes a good writer by writing history, he contributed to write papers, articles, monographs, books, reviews, etc. For that purpose, it is very necessary for us that practice, practice, and more practice. It is never ending process even for the established a good historian. He always practice it and find out the facts and add to new knowledge and to new generation. Through the length of their careers, good historians are always working consciously to improve their writing. Then historical research is a critical investigation of events, developments, and experience of the past, the careful weighting of evidence of the validity of sources of information on the past, and the interpretation of the weighted evidence. The historical investigator, like other investigators, they have collected data, evaluates the data for validity, and interprets the data. Actually, the historical method differ from other scholarly activity only in its rather exclusive subject matter, the past and the peculiarity, difficult interpretive task imposed by elusive nature of its subject matter. Then the essential of historical method. One of the basic elements of historical method is that after a historical document has been found, its authenticity must be established. Then after establishing the authenticity, its credibility must be examined. The details which have been picked up from numerous reliable documents must be put in a properly connected narrative, or what is more popularly known as expositions. Then historical research mainly add new information, new interpretation, and fact finding is the main duty of main function of this historical research. Research has assumed a prominent place in our society. Government, industries, and business organizations have started specialized being called research and development wing. Today, also in many universities, colleges, even some research centers, we find this type of organization, research and development center. Then research is a basic imperative for development, provision of enormous funds for by all countries, extending the boundaries of knowledge is an endless process. The social need is that development of technology adaptation for it for purposeful use is unending. Research is not an exclusive preserve of the chosen few. Now, any individual group belong to any subject can lay their hands in discovering new ideas. Any can do research, but he must take important interest in that, do hard work and other things. This is a problem solving tool involving an open mind, positive attitude, curiosity to know the unknown is the best guide, then it is actually movement towards advancement. So here the methods of social research. First one is selection of problem, then hypothesis, then research design, data collection, classification of data, analysis interpretation, conclusion, then report write. So like this whole social science research methods mentioned in this picture. Then what of research is an honest, exhaustive, intelligent searching for facts and their meaning or implication with reference to a problem. Research per se constitute a method for discovery of truth, which is really a method of critical thinking. Research represent a critical and exhaustive investigation to discover new facts, new interpret them in the light of known facts and theories. Uh, Action words. Research is a specific type of methodology, search, thinking, and investigation. How this specific work is done: exhaustive search, critical thinking, honest and intelligent investigation. Then the aim and purpose of research is discovery of facts and truths, their meaning, interpretation in the light of the known ideas, theories, and laws. Research in the remote past was not an organized activity. Any act of creation was a matter of chance, trial and error method, generalizing from experience. Knowledge about fire is a matter of chance, but classical herbs, insect, trial and error. Then accumulation body knowledge is experience. So this is the one example mentioned here. Then research process. Nature does not reveal all its secrets at one go, nor is the human wants for fresh knowledge in is one-time activity. So few facts are observed, assessed in the light of the established realities, and fresh tools are involved. The research process is about establishing facts. Research is objective, research scientific and time-consuming work. It is not a if today I started and after 1 week it is finished. No, it will. We have to give more and more time to get the good results. Now, research process we find in three phases. First one, formulation of the research plan. Second, implementing of research plan. Third, implementation of research result. Then which comes in the first? Selection and identify research topic is the basic thing. Then review of related literature is somebody done earlier which topic you have selected. Review of literature is very necessary. And the formulation objective, what were the objective to do this research. Then formulation hypothesis. Then selection of sampling, which methods or techniques you are using for do research, that is also comes under first phase. Then second phase, implementation of research plan, application of selected methods of data collection and analysis, then using appropriate mathematical statistical tools and techniques which you can use in your research, then using appropriate logical methods to make meaningful observation and conclusion, presentation methods in your thesis, then research report writing in a well, good and correct manner. That is also important. Then the third one is research will not end by collecting data and analyzing the same for yielding the results. It is equally connected implementing the results, publications, propagation of research result, insisting the concerned authorities for implementation. That is also one of the important. Then general format of research report I have mentioned here in the uh, preliminary pages. We find that title, preface, acknowledgements, contents, list of tables, list of figures, abbreviations. Then the Next, the general introduction, explain of the theoretical or practical content, what and why. Review of literature, critical summary of different facts of the related existing sources. Then conceptual framework of the study, explanation of hypothesis of research question. Then data collection process and methods which you use. Then data analysis, explain how the collected data was analyzed in your views. Then general conclusion, explanation, interpretation of research findings and the decisions. Then reference material also comes under research. Then bibliography, appendices, glossary of terms, index. Then research methods in social science, when we find that defining a research problem, describing a hypothesis, selecting a research method, describing the process to be followed, gathering data or analyzing data, reporting the findings and stating the conclusion in relation to the hypothesis. Then tools of data collection or research methods we use, techniques also like questionnaire, interview, survey method, field work, case study, observation methods, cross-cultural methods also we use in our research. Then thesis structure is we have to questions in the left side and answer in the right side. What is research? What is comes in introduction? What is already known in this research comes in the review of literature. What do I expect to find research questions? How you went about your research methodologies, what you find results and finding, what do the results and findings is discussion, what contribution achievements and what recommendations also comes in recommendation in your thesis. Then review of literature, I already explained that what others have done, theories address or research has been done previously. For that purpose this is important. Then various type of sources also found in history, the contemporary record, confidential reports, public reports, questionnaire, public opinion, government documents, literature, even along with this archaeological sources also we have to refer coins, inscription, mosque, forts, temple, art and architecture. Under primary source is the first-hand information. There are many types of primary sources, literary and archaeological sources, published unpublished work also called primary sources sometimes. Then archaeological sources we use like this, coins, temples, caves, monuments, inscriptions. Then archival sources also very helpful to us while doing the research, like National Archive, New Delhi, Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, Pune, which is very helpful to know the ancient Indian history. Then Bharat Itihas Samshodak Mandal, where we find the Maratha history sources. Even Deccan College is very famous for archaeological point of view. Then Pune Archives for Peshwa period, 18th centuries, many documents are there. The National Archive in Calcutta is also helpful to us. Some numismatic coins also give us a lot of information about to do research. Then while doing research, Indians also face the many problems when we consider the ancient Indian history. These are the few problems I have mentioned here. Subject writing, difficult of scattered data, difficult of identification names, even sometimes language also. Then first step, researchers should be concentrated. Choosing a good subject, forming a statement of problem, forming a hypothesis, collecting and organizing the evidence, then drawing a conclusion and writing the paper. These 5 steps that a researcher should concentrate. Then in history, there is a special thing we find that a heuristic and hermeneutic system, that is external criticism and internal criticism. The external criticism called heuristics, which is a Greek word, it means guiding our discovery. In fact, the external criticism means making discovery of the fact whether the document is fake or genuine. Author, time, or place, these all comes in external criticism. Then internal criticism, the main aim of internal criticism discover whether the document may be accepted or may not be accepted. The internal criticism concerned with the asserting the trustworthiness of the document. They again in internal criticism we have to find positive criticism and negative criticism. In positive criticism we find the real meaning, literal meaning, even negative criticism, mental thinking of a person while writing that things. That also we study in history. Then good errors are why the person done a mistake or author, that all points comes here. Then accuracy of the document, what were the reason the author make the mistakes, this all comes under here. Then errors of good faith, ability to tell the truth, willingness to tell the truth, accuracy of report, independent corroborations. Then directly we go to the what were the good qualities of a researcher. The historical method seeks to find explanations of question of current interest by an exchange. So, but what are the good qualities of research? We directly go. Uh, First thing is the selection of topics. Social insight must be there. Wide educational background is required. Familiarity with the topic and its objective. Analyzing and coordinating capacity must be there. Knowledge of his study or field. Knowledge of his own limitations. Even the availability of necessary facilities. Honesty in your work, in his work. Intellectual ownership and plagiarism knowledge also he must be known. Responsibility and accountability of the researcher. Writing style is also important. Then what he is going to search. So the first care of how, when, where, and of course why, this must be known by the researcher. And the another part of researcher is he should not easily get discouraged, he must be encouraged. Then last comes the report writing. Report writing is the last major step in the conduct of a research project. Effective reports of completed research can communicate the procedure and results of studies both to scholars and practicing professionals. Good reports recording all important elements of an investigation will facilitate the replication of studies so that data and conclusion can be verified. The utilization of an appropriate framework for the report will help to ensure logical narratives that enhance reader interest and comprehension. Then effective report writing, adequate explanation of the hypothesis, research design, methodology used to be implement the design, analysis of data, conclusion of and implications of completed objectives. Some are the funding agencies we give. Some of the funding agencies for research which give fund to do research scholars like Indian Council of Historical Research, Indian Council of Social Science Research, University Grant Commission, Ministry of Culture. Some scholarship were also given by the government and non-government to research scholars. Then some fellowship also there, Bharti, Rajiv Gandhi Fellowship, Sarthi Fellowship, even UGC also give some fellowship, and ICHR, junior and senior fellowships also there for researcher. Then writing a research article or dissertation, selection of, in the last I have mentioned this one, selection of topic for research collection and selection of facts, sources, primary sources, secondary sources, archaeological, foreign sources, then collection of data, objectivity in writing history, heuristic, criticism, internal and external, synthesis and interpretation, exposition and documentation, bibliography. So these all points must be covered in research paper writing and dissertation. While doing interdisciplinary research, you take the help of the more than one or two subjects help and do research. That is also important. Then the meaning of interdisciplinary research, you have to take the other subjects help also mentioned here. Then it is benefit to your increase your knowledge, other subjects knowledge also increase, and your creativity also increase. The methods also the same, descriptive, correlation, cross comparison, experimental method, qualitative method also used while doing the interdisciplinary studies. These are the few research books I have referred for this lecture. K.M. Chitney's book, Research Methodology in History, Research Methodology in History, Chetan Agarwal and other. Even Kothari books also is there. Then research methodology and techniques in history, research methodology in history and histography. Book. These are the reference mentioned here. So thank you very much.